What's up everyone, Kaze no What If is here with What If Luffy traveled back in time. Before we start, if you like the video, like it, share with your friends, comment, and let's start the video. Using the end of the blanket, Zoro soaked it into the water and scrubbed her arms and legs. She could still see the musk from being tied to a post without taking a break for 3 weeks. The grub started to wash away slowly. Now her tan skin was actually her skin tone and not darker than it was. The girl was lucky Rika and her mother tended to her clothes. The black stains from before were barely there. And the stench was now only herself, who hasn't had a proper bath within a month. So you're becoming Pirate King? Any reason? Zora questioned as she lowered her pants leg down. Luffy pointed to his straw hat. Made a promise to form an amazing crew, find One Piece and become king of pirates. The tip of his finger felt against the straw. Same here. Made a vow to become world's greatest swordsman no matter what to a friend. I'm hungry, the straw hat wearer moaned after a few moments. As soon as he said that, a growl came from his stomach. She leaned her head bewards, outside of the ship, and stared. How long until we get to an island? Whenever the waves take us, he shrugged his shoulders. Guess we'll have to fish and wonder until then. If you're going to be a pirate, shouldn't you know some navigation at least? That's why we gotta find a navigator. He paused and looked at the sea. If we find an island. Zora chuckled and loosened her bandages. With the pace they were going, there was no need for her to maintain her fake gender. How do ya suppose we fish? String from the blanket. For a hook, we could use a nail from that barrel, she added. She stood up and bent over the barrel, and loosened the nail out of the barrel. With a little too much force, the nail popped out and dropped onto the bottom of the boat. It rolled under the seats, back and forth, from his side to her side. The two of them scrambled their hands and searched for the loose nail. There it is. The nail rolled back under Luffy's seat. He stood up and reached under. A shadow flew past them, but neither noticed. They were too busy catching the nail. Got it? He held up the metal nail and gave his almighty grin. Zora smirked and took the nail back. She unsheathed one of her swords, the weakest out of the trio, and started sharpening the end. She bent the end, and made a hook. Luffy rubbed his thumb against the rough fabric, causing the thread to move about. He chose one random thread and pulled it out. Zora quickly caught the end and held onto it as Luffy broke it off from the other threads. One line and hook complete, the green-haired smile looked at the handcrafted fishing rod without the actual rod. Hopefully these fishes are dumb enough to fall for this. No apple cores either, Luffy rubbed his head. Guess we can't use bait. Doubt started flooding in as she looked at the string that could barely hold anything under 4 pounds. Can't you just punch something out of the sky or something? He looked overhead and there were no birds or beasts in sight. The only thing that filled the sky was the shining sun and a single cloud. He stretched his arm out and it all coiled together in one large pile. He threw his hand in and imminently felt the power draining away. The woman took a hold of his arm and waited. I think I got something. The green-haired nodded and whipped the arm out of the sea. 8 fishes were biting along her arm. Drool began to form. Within moments, the arm was wrapped back inside of the boat. Without much care, the two began picking the fish off of the arm, each ending up with 4. Without any preparation for the catch meat, Luffy started his small feast. Zoro slowly followed behind. Zoro, do you think we will find an island anytime soon? Not if we followed that cloud, she pointed up to the sky. Once again, something tugged on his memory box, but it didn't come unlocked. He nodded and placed his hands on the oars. After placing the blanket, failed fishing rod, and other junk back into the barrel, the two rode after the cloud. With no other cloud in sight, it was easy to track this one. The more excitement they've gotten about finally getting on land caused them to row harder. They even managed to pass the cloud. Now they were sailing whichever way the boat was facing. The boat hit something and flew over a few meters. The girl stopped and looked behind, to see if they caught any food. Instead, it was only 3 men doggy paddling in the sea. "Help! Let us go. We aren't stopping. Better grab on," she called back with a laugh. She held onto her paddles again and made eye contact with Luffy. The two of them grinned as the 3 swam near the boat. They started paddling once again, keeping out of reach of the 3 males. Finally, the 2 stopped and the 3 males came headfirst into the boat. "Ouch," one of them moaned as he rubbed his head. The other 2, a bit smarter, stopped in time and held onto the boat. They all climbed in and stared at the 2 pirates. "That wasn't much help." "We could always leave you," Luffy shrugged. "Who dash about your boat?" Zora's glare stopped them from even trying to take the boat. They gulped and held their hands up in defeat. "So, which way to go to an island?" The bigger male glanced back at his other 2 mates. "You were lost. Better head us to an island, unless you want to stay here." She crossed her legs and tilted her head at the 3 of them. They gulped once again under Zora's gaze and took hold of the paddles. With all of their forces combined, the 3 of them paddled through the sea and finally an island was in sight. "You're Zoro the pirate hunter, are right?" one of them questioned. "That's what they call me," she shrugged. Once again, they gulped and sweated in fear. "A demon," one of them whispered. The other 2 shivering in fright. They were leading the biggest bounty hunter right to their captain on that island. It was already bad enough that their ship and their treasures got taken over by some guy. The boat hit against the sandy beach, and all of them were thrown out of it. The swordswoman took a hold of her swords and without any words, the 3 ran away. "They must be in a hurry," Luffy stated. He grabbed his straw hat that laid on the ground, and placed the string around his neck. He stood up and looked at the city right when a flash appeared over a line of houses. The flash disappeared, as did the top halves of the houses. Zoro was turned around as she tightened her bandages around her chest once more, and her haramaki. "Looks like someone's having fun." "Oh yeah," Luffy yelped. In a flash, he was already gone. The green-haired girl's eyes widened and she took off after him. She had no clue what had taken over him. They ran throughout the rows of houses, some of them were without roofs, and made it to the square. "I found you, Nami." Luffy smiled in delight. "Why are you in a cage?" An orange-haired male sat cross-legged inside of a metal cage. He wasn't as skinny as Luffy, but he had many muscles either. A pair of sunglasses sat on his forehead, one side was broken from a fight beforehand. His ears had a shiny stud that glowed when the sunlight hit it. His orange hair was short but longer than Zora's, the front of it curled and covered his forehead and eyes. He stared at Luffy as if he just walked in on a murder taking place. A clown was several meters in front of him. A key was in his hand as if he was gloating, but he quickly pocketed it away once he saw the visitors. "The 2 of you dare to stand in front of me? Buggy the Clown? Have you not heard of my name? You should be bowing in front of my flashy stance." "Oh. Hey Buggy." Luffy waved. "You're still not bowing." "Hey Luffy, you know this guy?" Zoro pointed her thumb at the red-nosed clown. "Yup. Long time no see." "Who the hell are you?" Buggy's nerves finally melted. "Guess you don't remember me." But you will, because I'm going to be the king of the pirates. You don't know who you are talking to, kid. Yeah, I do. He shrugged and Zoro finally walked up the steps and stood behind him. Yo, Zoro, could you cut the cage? He pointed over to the imprisoned orange-haired male. Zoro was about to follow her pirate's orders when Buggy's shouts halted her. Nico. Buggy grinned, you're Zoro the pirate hunter. He chuckled, you two came for my head. Not interested, she stated with a shrug of her shoulders, just came because of him. She pointed to her captain. Luffy, these are iron bars. We need a K-dash. Hat. What a small flashy detail that no one would miss. If I kill you, I will become more famous. Watch out. He has a devil fruit. Nico, the orange-haired man, yelled out. This seemed like the only chance he had to get free, as the buggy pirates already decided he could be dead. He slid to one side of the cage and looked around, and gulped once a lion's face came into view. The giant pink lion stared into the cage as he licked his lips. I'm going to become lion food. He slid to the other side. Moji hopped on top of the cage and grinned at his tamed beast. Got something else to say? The beast tamer questioned. No worries, Zoro pushed it to the side. She unsheathed her swords and charged forward at Buggy. With numerous slices, the pirate was down. He was sliced into squares. That's it? He's not done. Luffy called out. What do you mean? She questioned. She took a few steps back and watched as the pirate regrouped his pieces back into one. I ate the bara no mi, so now I'm a splitting man. Buggy grinned as he thought Zoro was frowning because she was afraid, but more so that was her usual face. Swords don't work on me. Guess I have to make them. Zoro tried once again, cutting Buggy into different slices. First with his head then his chest. But as soon as the swords left, Buggy reconnected them. Better luck next time. He drew out his dagger and it clashed against Zoro's sword. His other hand disconnected and went to her side. The dagger flew out of his hand and back into his disconnected hand. With one thrust, the dagger pierced Zoro's side, something she wasn't suspecting. Crimson soaked her haramaki, the dagger pierced deep. She dropped to one knee. Buggy retracted the dagger and chuckled as the woman was now kneeling to him. It may not be critical since I missed the organs, it's a serial wound. Which means, I'm the winner. Buggy chuckled as his head went back and his pirates joined him. Zoro winced in pain as she tried to close the wound with her bandana. I let my guard down, she mumbled. I'd even known he ate a devil fruit but I was careless. The male in a blue and white striped shirt looked down at his lap. The situation worsened, yet I can't get out of this crappy cage. All three of us are going to be lion food. It still happened. Luffy thought as he tilted his head. He glared at the clown pirate. Big nose. You could have said anything but that. Nico is excited. Big nose. Who's got a big nose? Buggy used the same dagger and threw it at Luffy's head, in which he swiftly caught the blade with his fingers. I'm tired of you already, he yawned. Well, this should be quick. As if I'm going to get defeated by a rookie. Unlike you, I have more tricks up my sleeve than you think. He gestured to the cannon behind him. He's going to use the buggy balls. I'm going to die. Nico grumbled and looked at his lap. If only he could escape, but Buggy had the key in his pocket. He side-glanced at the lion, who was now drooling. Hey! You want a piece of me? He taunted the large animal. Hopefully this works. Moji jolted up as Richie clawed at the cage. It's well past your feeding time. Guess a little snack couldn't hurt. The lion grinned and showed all of his sharp teeth to Nico. The male gulped and waited for the lion to break through. His claws only weakened the metal bars, but after getting impatient, he took a large bit and crushed the cage. He smashed a ball to the ground and dust appeared surrounding the cage. He climbed out of the wreck and away from the beast and his tamer by jumping down to the square. Now, it's time for a flashy finish. He took a few steps to the cannon in the middle of the square, turned it to Luffy, and lit the end. Oh fuck. Nico, the orange-haired man, cursed out loud. The other two weren't far away from him, so when that cannon struck, he was going out with it. He needed to get away faster, so he sped behind the houses. Luffy trotted in front of it and kicked it over, aiming at Buggy's crew. They all gulped, and before it was too late they raced away. In a quick second thinking, Kabeji used the unknowing lion as a shield. Richie, the beast tamer cried. You harmed my men. Buggy glared at the rookie. Buggy unsheathed a small dagger from his belt. You dare to oppose me and harm my men. He charged forward and slashed Luffy's shoulder, as he was able to dodge most of the attack. Kabeji threw Richie to the side and hopped onto his unicycle. He raced down the steps, looking for the male that just disappeared moments ago. The captain separated himself into pieces, which was a great mistake. Gum Gum Gatling gun. His arms stretched and instantly hit against the air and Buggy's body parts. As the aged pirate tried to escape, he would only get punched by Luffy's speedy punches. The move finally ended and Buggy restored himself to his former glory. He wiped his chin and looked at the rookie. Interesting skill there, but it's no match for me. Another devil fruit user. Nico gasped as he peeked around the corner, as did others on Buggy's crew. Other than their own captain, they never saw another devil fruit user. They were so uncommon in the East Blue, that most believed them as myths. It's like a nightmare. Buggy spread his hands and they darted through the air, dashing up and down, but Luffy grabbed a tree and dodged it. While he was there, he trailed back and shot through the air. Gum Gum pistol. Buggy's body parts jumbled onto the ground as he wasn't ready for a rebound. Luffy quickly grabbed several of the body parts and held them. When the old fool tried to reassemble, he ended up looking like a dwarf. His forearm, waist, knees, and other parts were all tangled together in Luffy's hands. Here. Zoro threw ropes at Luffy. She groaned and held onto her side as she battled against the lower-ranked members. Moji was still nursing Richie as the others were taken off one by one. Thanks, he grinned and started tying the parts up. He made eye contact with Buggy and threw the bundled body parts into the sea. Cruel, Zoro commented. No. Buggy shouted as he ran to the shore. His crew followed behind him like lost puppies. His first mate and second mate were having a glaring battle as they reached the shore, their captain already jumped into a boat. Nico poked his head from the corner and smirked. Those two settled the Buggy conflict, now he had all of their treasure to himself. He whipped out the keys and turned around to head to their treasury. And here he thought he would have to act like a Buggy pirate for at least a week before taking his treasures. ////. So, a new recruit, Buggy looked over his cup of ale. Why should I let you join my flashy crew? I have excellent navigation skills for all of the East Blue. I already have navigators, kid. And they are all flashy. He gave the pirate a sly smile. I have studied all my life. You haven't seen any of my fine works. Well then, he leaned over. His arm shifted on the armrest. One can never have too many crew members. Let's have a feast. A dark-skinned boy raised his ale to the sky. Cheers. What's your name, kid? Buggy gave him a wild eye. Nico. It was too easy, he thought. Pirates were so simple-minded and easy to fool. And it kept getting easier and easy as the alcohol spread throughout their bodies. It has only been an hour, yet they treated him as one of the crew. If only they knew. He searched around the crew, looking for their weakest point. But with them all intoxicated, they all were on the same level. Sea charter. It was as easy as that. One of the pirates, who just entered the feast from their treasure hunt, sat down and gulped ale. In his pocket was a folded piece of paper. Who knew what secrets were inked onto that parchment? Drinking contest. Nico questioned as he held up his cup of sake. The mischievous pirate rose his glass and gave him a petulant wink. You have no clue that you're facing off with. He chuckled as one of the pirates filled their cups to the brim. The refills kept coming until the languid pirate knocked over and fell onto the ground. The slip of paper lay underneath him. As cunning as Nico could be, he grabbed the folded paper from the ground, slipping it into his jean pockets. You're not only a navigator, but a thief as well, Buggy's voice came from behind him. The boy gulped and slowly turned around. It hasn't even been a day, yet he was caught. Boys, throw our little friend in the cage. Let's show him how flashy Buggy pirates are. They all cheered together and grabbed Nico as if they hadn't been bonding for the last hour. Captain's orders always came first. Been a while since we saw a display. Buggy took out a cannon from a rack and loaded it into a cannon, in which the chore boy sat out in the middle of the square. His first mate positioned it to a row of houses as Buggy showed the rookie his power. This is what I like to call Buggy Ball. He swiped a match on the carton and lit the string on fire. He took a few steps back as the Buggy Ball launched. A whole row of houses were destroyed. Now, you're going to see a first-hand flashy experience. The clown turned the cannon onto Nico. Slash 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 slash. Where do you think you're going? Zora smirked as Nico jumped back. This was the person Luffy went out of his way to save. Must be someone important at least. I'm going to my house. Luffy jumped down from the roof and stared at his navigator. Hey Nami, I didn't know you lived here. That's not my name. It's Nico. Oh. I'm Monkey D. Luffy. Rora no Zoro, the green-haired girl added. Zora tilted her head, chagrined at Luffy's choice of a navigator. The orange-haired looked faint and dour. Luffy, are you sure he's the one you're looking for? Hell yeah. She's our navigator. That was Nico's last nerve. He punched Luffy on the head for peeving him off. First off, get your eyes checked. I'm male, if you can't tell, idiot. And I'm no one's navigator. He winced as there were more to that sentence, except for Arlong. We need a navigator for our crew, the rubber boy begged. He didn't give a second thought to the gender change. I knew it. You're pirates. Filthy pirates. Buggy and you should have just wiped each other out. Zora sighed and looked at the sky with a scowl. He doesn't want to join. We can always find someone else. Nope, I already decided Nami's gonna be in our crew. Luffy was set on taking Nico as his navigator. Nico, the man punched Luffy's head once again, causing the bump to rise. We have no more business with each other, so you two can leave already. Didn't we just save your life? Zora uttered with a glint to her eyes. She was pretty certain that the orange-haired was locked up in a cage surrounded by bloodthirsty pirates until the two of them got there. And I'm pretty sure I saved yours too, Buggy would have gotten you. We are equal now. Luffy groaned, Now this was going to be even harder to get Nico on his crew than last time. With a slight idea, he grabbed the keys from his keys and threw them to Zora. "Those are mine," the boy yelped. Zora, now included onto the plan, took a few steps back as Luffy jumped on the other side of the square. She threw the keys and Luffy caught them. Rotten pirates. Taking whatever they can when they can. Weren't you doing the same? I steal only from pirates. I've never lowered myself as low as scumbags like pirates. Let's make a deal. You get these keys back, but you will be our comrade. Nico halted and glared at the rubber boy. As if I would work with the likes of you. He turned around and left the square. I thought he would put up more of a fight, the girl added and followed behind her captain. It's not like we could trust him after we gave him the keys, she added as an afterthought. Blood soaked through the fabric and ran down her legs. I need a nap, she yawned. I think the villagers are out still, so we can use one of their hodash. Buggy pirates. An old man ran in front of them. He was padded with cardboard and pieces of metal, like pans and bowls. He had a simple staff of wood and aimed it at the two. I'm the village's mayor, and I will protect the city no matter what. We already defended them, Luffy grinned. Why, you defeated Buggy and his crew? But. He leaned over and closed his eyes, moping. I have failed as a mayor. I couldn't even protect my own village and allowed outsiders to do it. Now the village is ruined because of me. Zoro leaned against a house and fell onto the ground. What's wrong with him? He's bleeding. We need to get him to a doctor. I just need some sleep, she motioned. My house? It's only a block away. I can go and call for the village's doctor. They are all sheltered in the hills. Thanks, old man. Luffy picked up his first mate and dragged her to his simple house. It was only one floor with the basics. The bedroom was in the back, so he laid her over the blankets and placed some towels at her side. You can go already, she told him. Sure, he nodded and raced out of the house. He scratched his ear and wondered where Nico would be. Has Nami always been a dude, he wondered out loud. But Sanji doesn't like guys. They're weird. He walked down the road and stopped imminently when he saw the pet store. It was undamaged, unlike the other buildings surrounding it. So this is his treasure, he uttered. He walked inside and looked around. It was a firmly small shop with most of the items inside in great need of restocking. But now there were more left than one simple box that he could only save last time. He turned around and stared at Chaochu. You're still guarding your treasure. Don't worry, this time nothing's gonna happen to it. At least, not while I'm around. He promised. Captain bent down and held his hand out. And the dog only growled at him. He took that as get the hell away from my treasure, so he stepped over Chaochu and waited outside. He tried once more and reached out the palm of his hand. The dog only sniffed it and sat down in front of the doors. If you weren't guarding this, I would have taken you as a crewmate. Luffy chuckled at the mental picture of Buggy running away with Chaochu biting his ass. The dog tilted his head at Luffy's words, and the rubber boy took that as an invitation to rub his head. You're one tough little runt. He looked around and saw a food bowl filled as the mayor had already been there. He watched the pirate from the shadows. He only came back for one thing, but he wasn't suspecting the boy to be this innocent for choosing the life of a pirate. The two of them seemed like they were bonded with each other, even though it was the first time they had met, if you didn't include Luffy traveling back. Luffy laughed as the dog licked his knee, just like a child. The two of them looked blissful even though one of them was scum. Nico hid back into the shadows, leaving behind his broken sunglasses. He sat in front of the other docked boat and waited for what seemed like forever. He started to nod off, but he saw a shift in the shadows. He half closed his eyes and waited for the shadow to get closer. A hand touched his pocket, searching for a piece of metal. Luffy grabbed the hand and pulled the shadow man into the light. "So we're comrades." He lowered his eyebrows and his forehead wrinkled. He could only be so lucky in a single day. "How do you know I'm a navigator?" "You are better than me and Zoro. We had run over some pirates, and they had to sail us here," he chuckled. "That has nothing to do with me. We need a navigator, simple as that." "I don't believe you. Pirates are fucking scum, use anything to cover up their lies. I only look after myself, Solo, I don't belong to a pirate crew." He bit the inside of his mouth. "You don't have to be a pirate, just our friend and comrade." Nico stared at him. "You barely know me. We met only a couple hours ago. I just know you're a good person. Plus I already decided you will be on my crew." "Is that all you care about? Your crew size? Look. Isn't that your ship? Yet you call yourself a pirate. Just starting out. We need to get our other nakama." This was the only way to get the key, he reminded himself. He sighed and looked down at the ground. He could always betray them later. "Fine, I will be your comrade, only because by allying with you, there will surely be profits." "Sure. I'm gonna regret this." Luffy chuckled and stood up, handing over the key to Nico. After regrouping, the three of them went back to the square. All of the buggy pirates' items remained. They must have been scared away to ever come back to this spot. Nico savaged the remains before unlocking the door. The pirates used a part of Town Hall as their treasury as they stayed on the island. It was more of a walk-in closet than a wine cellar. Cabinets were on both sides, filled with high-quality items. "There it is," Nico smiled. He grabbed a loose chart from the pile and stuck it in between his sash and his forearm. His precious was finally back after all of the trouble it got him into. The other two grabbed a cloth sack and started loading the bags with it. "This is enough to buy a ship," Zora humored herself. "The best ones in East Blue are those in the Marine," Nico added. "We'll find the best one. Just wait," Luffy chuckled to himself. "Does he always do that?" he questioned. "Better get used to it." Just who did he exactly sign up with? The orange-haired shook his head in displeasure. He knew nothing of these two other than one was a devil fruit user, and the other was the infamous Roronoa Zoro. Over a stupid piece of metal, he joined a group of rouges. At least the two knew how to protect themselves, and the leader seems gullible at most. They filled the bags until the whole storage was empty, and went along their way to the ship. It was enough to fill 2 bags. Nico carried one, as Luffy carried the other. Zora followed the two out very slowly as she held onto her wound. "Pirates. We got you now. Don't try anything." They were surrounded by angry villagers. Nico gulped. First it was the pirates, now the citizens were after him. One of them stepped forward. "You guys are the pirates, right?" Luffy just nodded. "Yup, we the pirates. Look what you've done to our village. You numbskull. Why would you tell them that?" Nico demanded. "It's the truth." He gently laid down the bag and looked at them all. "Guess they aren't mad this time since I didn't knock out the mayor." Speaking of the mayor, he wasn't anywhere to be spotted. "Get them." All of them decreased the distance between them. Luffy glanced at his 2 crewmates, grabbing both of them in his rubbery arms. As an instinct, Nico grabbed Luffy's bag. The rubber boy stretched them too safely, away from the angry citizens. They chased them throughout the alley. Luffy purposely went by the pet store, and there the dog was, sitting in the same spot. But he moved once he saw the others chasing after the trio. He snarled and grunted at the citizens. "Chow chew. Thanks." Nico picked up his pace with Luffy, but Zora hung onto Luffy's back. The navigator and captain carried the bags and Zora, and finally came to their selected boats. Nico hopped on his stolen buggy's boat, as Luffy dropped Zora in their fishing boat. "They stopped chasing us," Nico observed, while relieved. He sighed and started rowing from the island's shores. They were out in the distance when the mayor appeared once more with the citizens, much more calmed down. He was panting and bent over as he took in large breaths. He straightens up and stares at their saviors. "Thank you, brats. Thank you for everything. Take care of yourself, old man," Luffy replied as he waved. "He doesn't even know our names," Zora smirked as she leaned against the side of the ship. "Once we get to the Grand Line, everyone is gonna know our names," Luffy countered. Items dropped to the bottom of the ship. The two pirates turned and gave Nico a questioning look. His mouth was opened as he looked at the cloth sack of treasure. "One of the bags is missing." "Oh, I left it on the island." "You what?" "They needed the money to rebuild." But they were my treasures. And now it's theirs." "You idiot." "Captain has a point, navigator." I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you liked it, subscribe to my channel for more fan fictions like this, and goodbye.